Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that one of Harlem's most iconic rappers just got caught red-handed in a $2 million drug sting so messy, it makes the BMF series look like a church documentary? Because that's exactly what's happening right now. Jim Jones, yes, Capo himself, is allegedly at the center of a DEA takedown that's got the streets buzzing, fans spiraling, and Cameron screaming into his phone like it's 2003 again. You thought Dipset beef was a thing of the past? You thought those flashy chains and reality TV drama were just entertainment? Oh no. Baby, this goes way deeper. We're talking secret deals, unmarked bills, and a sting operation so slick, it could have been directed by Scorsese. And the wildest part? Cameron hit go live the second it broke, yelling, "I warned y'all," like he'd been holding this tea since the iPod era. So, what really happened behind the scenes? Who snitched? Who ran? And is Jim Jones looking at Rico? Or just reality TV redemption? Strap in. Because this rabbit hole goes all the way down, and trust me, you won't believe who's really pulling the strings. So, let's start from the top, because this ain't just another celebrity slip-up. This isn't your typical rapper caught with a little something in his Lewis bag at TSA situation. Nah, fam. This is federal. This is wires tapped, GPS tracked, DEA knocking, dogs barking, and Jim Jones allegedly knee-deep in a $2 million narcotics sting that's got the entire East Coast hip-hop scene holding their breath. It all exploded early this morning, when an anonymous federal source, you know the kind who always leaks when the drama's about to go viral, dropped a bombshell dossier detailing an ongoing investigation called Operation Pink Eagle. Sounds cute, right? Well, it's anything but. According to the leaked files, this multi-agency task force had been monitoring several high-profile entertainment figures involved in what they're calling a luxury street operation, essentially a drug ring cloaked in designer hoodies, influencer deals, and podcast appearances. And right at the center of it all, Jimmy Capo. Now look, Jim Jones ain't no choir boy, we know that. He's been tiptoeing around scandals for years like he's moonwalking on ice. From being linked to 9 Trey during the Tekashi 6ix9ine mess, to those infamous phone calls that surfaced during federal investigations, this man's name stays in circulation more than a bad rumor. But this is different. The documents claim that Jones was part of an upper-tier distribution network, allegedly helping facilitate drops using luxury cars, tour buses, and even rented Arabs posing as music video sets. Like bro, they really turned rap locations into trap locations. And just when the internet thought it couldn't get any messier, enter Cameron. Because the moment this news hit the timeline, Cam went full vintage Dipset mode, hopping on IG Live with the energy of a man who knew this day was coming. Hair pick in hand, purple hoodie on, Cameron stared into the camera and said one line that shook every corner of the culture. "I told y'all back in 09 this man been moving funny. And now look." You could practically hear the Petty Olympics beginning in the background. Comment sections? In shambles. Twitter? Cooked. Reddit? Already on part 3 of the conspiracy thread. And let's be real. The Dipset family tree has been looking brittle for a while. The tension between Cam and Jim has been bubbling under the surface since their public fallout years ago. Reunions? Forced. Appearances? Paid. That real brotherhood? It's been hanging on by a thread, and this scandal might just be the final snip. Back to the investigation. The feds are calling this ring celebrity laundering at street level. Basically, they're accusing Jim of being the middleman between high society and low-level runners, moving serious weight across state lines using his fame as cover. Now, did they say this directly? No. But between the redacted names and the rapper/entrepreneur labels in the documents, it ain't hard to connect the dots. One file even mentions a code phrase used by Jones during a wiretap conversation. "I'm picking up the merch from the boutique. Tell Shorty to bring the gift wrap." Boutique? Gift wrap? Ain't nobody buying Christmas presents in June, bro. And then there's the money trail. Allegedly, over $2 million in cash and product moved through shell companies under the names of fashion brands, LLCs for fake touring companies, and even a youth basketball league that never actually had a single registered game. The receipts? all sitting in the hands of investigators, with photos of money counters, burner phones, and a very suspicious Gucci duffel bag with half-torn labels. And guess what? The tip didn't come from an outsider. Someone on the inside flipped. We don't know who yet, but insiders are whispering about a close affiliate with Dipset history, someone who's been quietly cooperating for over 14 months. Y'all do the math. Because if you look at who's been missing from recent events, who's suddenly moving low, and who's scrubbed their Instagram, it's not that hard to guess. Meanwhile, Jim has gone silent. No tweets. No lives. No stories. Just that eerie stillness celebs get right before the PR disaster plan goes into full effect. You know the drill. Deactivate, lawyer up, and sources close to the artist start dropping mysterious statements to TMZ. But while Jones is ghosting, Camron is just warming up. On that same live stream, Cam dropped a bomb. This ain't even a half of it. Ask him what really went down in Miami last summer. Ask him about the Bottega drop. And just like that, boom, Bottega drop starts trending. No one knows what it means, but it sounds illegal, so now the conspiracy theories are out of control. Fans are pulling receipts from old interviews, dissecting lyrics, rewatching Love and hip-hop clips like it's a courtroom cross-examination. One fan wrote, "I knew Jim was shady when he said, 'I'm still in the streets on Drink Champs.' You 45, sir. The streets should be in your past." Another commented, "Imagine being in Dipset and catching a Fed case in 2025. What is this, Snowfall, Harlem edition?" And if all of this sounds wild to you, just wait. Because in the final pages of the leaked files, the words "ongoing surveillance of additional high-profile suspects" appear. Meaning Jim Jones might not be the only rapper in this mess. So where were we? Oh, right. The word "ongoing surveillance" at the bottom of the leaked Operation Pink Eagle files. That phrase alone? It sent social media into a digital meltdown. Because let's be clear, when the feds say ongoing, it means somebody else is about to get snatched next, and the streets want to know who. Now let's talk about this so-called inner circle. Word is, this wasn't just Jim Jones doing solo missions. According to the fake but believable sources speaking under anonymity, because they fear for their safety, the investigation is actively eyeing at least 3 more rappers, all allegedly tied to this ring through concert shell corporations and cash drop handoffs disguised as charity events. Charity events. Let that sink in. One source even claimed they were using back-to-school drives to push product, like handing out bags with school supplies and other supplies. Other supplies? What are we talking, erasers and eights? You cannot make this up. Or actually, we just did. But stay with me. One of the names floating around in conspiracy circles? A certain East Coast rapper with a history of tax issues and suddenly cleaned up finances. Eyes. This ain't just about Jim anymore. This is about the celebrity trap pipeline, the unspoken network where washed-up fame, inflated ego, and dwindling relevance meet desperation. And if you think it's just rappers, baby, you're not paying attention. Reality stars, influencers, club promoters turned podcast hosts. Anyone who's touched Jim Jones' post-2018 orbit is now under fan forensic surveillance. Instagram follows? Being tracked. Who liked which post? Being dissected. Who unfollowed who after the sting? Full case study threads with PowerPoint slides. Meanwhile, back on Camron's side of the story, it's full smoke. After his initial viral live, Cam doubled down with a second video, this time posted from what looked like a cigar lounge with velvet chairs and a suspiciously loud background track of Kill a Season. Petty royalty. Quote from that video, "You think I ain't know? You think I ain't peeped the late-night meetings in Atlanta? Bro was dressin' like El Chapo in Prada. That ain't style. That's a strategy." Twitter didn't stand a chance. The memes started flying. One user posted a side-by-side of Jim in a red trench coat and El Chapo in court with the caption, "When your drip matches your charges." Another wrote, "Camron woke up and chose snitch with style." But this goes deeper than Cam clowning. Because in between all the shade and viral moments, Camron made a very specific claim that shifted everything. They had Jones' phone tapped. For over a year, man was talking business over FaceTime like Apple ain't got federal resale programs. And that, folks, was the turning point. See, once fans learned that federal agents were allegedly watching Jim for 14 months, people went back. Way back. Rewatching all his interviews, IG lives, and press appearances from the last year. And what they found? Some seriously suspicious stuff. Like, why was Jim randomly doing an NFT panel in Tulsa with no actual NFT product? Or why did his tour bus make a pit stop in Kentucky with no show booked? Why was he buying 12 burner phones at a time for the crew? Who needs 12 burners for group texts? Let's also not ignore the unreleased footage that just hit Twitter, supposedly from a hotel surveillance camera, showing Jones meeting with two unidentified men in ski masks, handing off what looks like a shoebox full of money. Now look, we're not saying it's definitely a drop. Maybe they were just exchanging Supreme bricks, but come on. The body language alone screamed, "Don't look at the camera." But the crown jewel of part 2? The alleged DEA audio leak. A 7-second voice clip, uploaded anonymously to SoundCloud, allegedly features Jim Jones' voice saying, "Tell him to park by the mailbox. Don't knock. Just leave the gift in the trunk." The gift. Again. This gift is becoming the new code word of the century. Rappers everywhere are now scared to even say gifted in their verses. Even Lil Baby deleted a birthday post captioned, "Big gifts on the way." That's how contagious this scandal is. And the absolute kicker? A Camron freestyle dropped late last night titled, "Gift Wrap." And bruh, he did not hold back. Here's a bar that had the internet flipping. "While you FaceTimed the plug in designer shades, I was watching the feds eat off your accolades." Sheesh. This isn't just pettiness. It's lyrical demolition. Cam is clearly weaponizing the moment, and people are loving it. Fans are begging for a full Dipset docuseries now. The rise, the coke, and the comeback. Meanwhile, more brands are quietly distancing themselves from Jim. One fashion label reportedly paused a collaboration. A weed company removed his image from its promo kit. And a certain celebrity boxing league that had planned a Jones vs. Jewels exhibition match? Cancelled. Swiftly. But the question remains, who's next? Because if the feds were really watching for over a year, and if that ongoing surveillance still holds true, there's a bigger fish swimming just out of frame. Because guess what? Operation Pink Eagle? It's not just a sting, it's a straight-up industry purge. According to newly leaked court papers that mysteriously popped up on a forum called FedWatch 97, Jim Jones isn't the end of a story. He's just the bait. And the real target? A multi-tiered celebrity laundering ring that investigators claim stretches from New York to Atlanta to, wait for it, Dubai. Yes, Dubai. Turns out, according to anonymous encrypted emails circulating on Reddit, Jones was allegedly used as a funnel. Someone who still had just enough fame, just enough street credibility, and just enough ego to think he was untouchable. But while Jim was playing the legend, somebody behind the scenes was moving the real weight. And here's where it gets truly insane. Whispers are flying that a former Dipset affiliate, someone with a big name but a low profile these days, was working with the feds the entire time. The same person who dipped from public life, suddenly moved out of the country, and hasn't posted since 2023. Eyes. Multiple sources say this ghost figure was instrumental in mapping out the hierarchy of the operation, giving names, locations, drop spots, and even setting up recorded conversations with high-level targets. Yep, we're talking informant behavior in HD. And you know who's reportedly next in line for questioning? A Grammy-nominated producer known for his close ties to Dipset and a popular weed brand. Bro, not the weed guy. Weary face. The fake but believable leaked documents claim this producer helped sanitize dirty money by funneling it through music streams, fake booking agencies, and international crypto investments tied to NFT drops. AKA you bought a JPEG of a monkey, but what you really bought was a kilo. Skull. Let that marinate. But wait, because the internet doesn't sleep. Fans are now analyzing old interviews, and one specific clip is going mega viral. It's a Drink Champs episode where Jim Jones literally says, "I'm always in the field, still got my soldiers out there." Excuse me? A field? Soldiers? Someone get this man a lawyer with auto-reply settings. Even NORE reposted the clip with the caption, "Bruh, grimacing face, I ain't know it was that real." So while Jim is still silent, Cameron is doubling, tripling, quadrupling down. He posted a screenshot of a text, presumably from an unnamed rapper, that said, "You gotta chill, bro. This ain't a rap beef no more." Cam's response? "I been chill. Y'all the ones moving bricks in tote bags." And fans? Living for the chaos. TikTokers are making timelines, Twitter Spaces titled "Who Snitched and Dipset?" are running 5 hours long, and YouTubers are uploading emergency live streams like it's the stock market crash. But amidst the jokes, there's a very real conversation happening. People are asking, how many more rappers are using their brand to cover something darker? Is this just Jim? Or is this the tip of a cocaine iceberg? Legal analysts, fake ones and real ones alike, are saying the feds have enough surveillance material for at least 6 more indictments, including international shipping records, intercepted voice notes, and financial audits linked to event promoters. In fact, there's already talk of a grand jury panel being assembled, with charges ranging from conspiracy to distribute, money laundering, to violations of the RICO Act, the same one that YSL got hit with. If that goes through, Jones could be looking at 15 to life. And anyone tied to the paper trail? Collateral damage. Oh, and let's not forget what just leaked from the Cameron camp, because at this point, he's treating this like a Netflix docuseries he's narrating. In a new clip from his podcast, It Is What It Is, Cam dropped this bar. "If you use rap money to hide trap money, eventually it all folds like a mixtape cover." Poetic, petty, dangerous, iconic. And the final twist? According to someone claiming to be a cousin of a court clerk on TikTok, we know, but let's pretend. Jones' legal team is prepping a plea deal, and it may involve naming names. That's right. The streets are whispering, Jim might snitch. Whether it's true or not, the rumor has set fire to the culture. Everyone's posting Dipset throwbacks with captions like, "Damn, not Capo becoming Cap." Even Meek Mill randomly tweeted, "Industry ain't the same. Too many rats in Balenciaga." No one knows who he was talking about, but everyone thinks they know. Meanwhile, Cameron is thriving. He's up 40K followers. His freestyle went viral. His podcast numbers just doubled. And now, he's teasing a new track called Fed Files. Of course he is. Because when your ops are going to court, you go to the studio. So where does that leave Jim Jones? Facing heat from the feds, betrayal from old crew members, silence from collaborators, and humiliation from the one man who's been telling the world for a decade that something wasn't right. And where does that leave us? With a hip-hop scandal that just rewrote the Dipset legacy. From bandanas to bonds, from We Fly High to We Got Caught, this story's no longer a rumor. It's a full-blown case file. Stay tuned, because in the world of rap, even legends can fall off the stage straight into a courtroom. So now the question is, what do you believe? Is Jim Jones really the mastermind behind a $2 million trap operation? Or is he just another rapper caught up in a system that loves to build stars up just to tear them down? Is Cameron exposing the truth? Or is this a long-awaited revenge tour masked as concern? One thing's for sure, this story is far from over. With the streets talking, the feds watching, and fans digging deeper by the hour, this scandal is evolving faster than a rapper dropping apology notes in their Instagram stories. We've seen careers end over less. But this could take down an entire legacy or expose the industry in ways we've never seen before. And trust, when the next leak hits, we'll be right here to break it down, bar for bar, wiretap for wiretap. So don't just scroll past, we need your voice. What do you think Cameron meant by the Bottega drop? Is this a setup? A fall from grace? Or a messy truth finally catching up? Drop your thoughts in the comments, like the video if you're shocked, and hit that subscribe button so you never miss the next expose. Because baby, we're just getting started.